JHAM Hip Hop and Cinema. Yeah. 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 I'm transparent to you niggas cause I ain't got time to bullshit. So nigga, what you see is what you get. IQ, creativity, and hustle is legit. I'm like a DD-Gim-Fo carbine when I spit. I kick the whole truth to those that only know the half. Blessing my people with the literacy and the math. And shaking shit up, but you can put up the seismic graph. It's more than the movement of tectonic plates. It's more than the movement of just racks and weight. We up against principalities, enemies of the state. Link up with this army, you best have the breastplate of the Teflon material. But that ain't all. The avenue of expression, the provocation of thought. The love of being free to sell without being involved. The motivation to question everything you talk. It's back freedom. Fight for your freedom. Forever. Yeah.
What up, y'all? I'm Ira Dubb, actor, rapper, independent filmmaker, and political activist that uses educational entertainment as a platform for changing the landscape affecting urban youth. And this is my weekly blog entitled Freedom Forever, in which we are exploring the generational curses that affect Black people and calling you to action, encouraging you to change your way of thinking and free yourself. Now, in the past few weeks, I've discussed who the modern day slave master is, and it was determined that we are a self-oppressing people today. And I dug deeper into that issue in the following week by suggesting a book to you called Slavery by Another Name by Douglas Blackman. And in that book, he busts the myth that slavery was abolished during the Emancipation Proclamation, and also covers some of the very actions that were the root of the demonization of our culture. And when I was reading that information, it really hit home for me because I remember growing up, I was a very smart student. I was an exceptional student growing up, especially in elementary school. And then I got to middle school and I was placed in classes for students like myself, other students like myself. And I actually had teachers that rather than nurturing where I was at the time and trying to push me forward, it's like they were threatened by me and my other Black peers that were in the same boat, and they actually did things to lower my self-esteem and make me feel like I was inferior at the time. And so it really hit home for me because it's interesting to see that those same methods, being used on a smaller scale in the school system were actually derivative of the methods that the government used in the past after the Emancipation Proclamation to put us into a neo-slavery system. So it's just one of the things that I wanted to recap a little bit. In case you haven't seen those prior episodes, you can go back and check them out. They're all here on this channel. Please feel free to do so. Leave comments, whatever. Now that I've covered the thought process that keeps us in bondage, what I want to do is start breaking some of these generational curses down now and calling us to action, actually discussing some actions that we can take to free ourselves. And what I want to start with is the phrase that's commonly used, that one man's trash is another man's treasure. And the reason I want to start there is because over the past few years, I've come up on a lot of treasures of my own that other people regarded as trash. Basically, as a film student, I was struggling. Was a film student working a part-time job, didn't really pay much, and on top of working out and losing weight, I actually got very sick and lost a whole lot more weight, and really haven't put on all of this weight since. And so what happened is I didn't have any clothes that fit me anymore, and I was walking around looking real bummy. And me, I like to stay fly. That's just the hip hop in me. I like to be fly. And during that time, I discovered that I could actually come up on some really nice clothes just thrift shopping in the thrift stores. And so you might notice in my credits now at the end that my wardrobe is provided by local thrift stores, because I continue to do that today because it's a means of of me saving money. And one of the things that we as black people need to do is start controlling our finances a lot better. There's some of us that do it, but a lot of us are still in the same boat because our parents didn't really know a whole lot about finances. Their parents didn't really know a whole lot about finances and whatever. And so we're not trained to really manage our finances properly. And that's a struggle that I'm working on in my own personal life. And as I go through it and work my way towards financial freedom, I want to be able to share these things with you that I'm learning and help you to roll with me on this, man. And actually, we can work together and achieve financial freedom. So the first thing I want to discuss in terms of finances really is just controlling your spending. And part of that is where we shop, and whatever, because it's just ridiculous how much we spend to try to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. And we don't really have to do that. I mean, we can keep up with them, but we don't have to spend as much money doing so. And we can also give back to our communities by shopping in particular places like thrift stores. So I just wanted to address that, let everybody know, support your local thrift store. So we're going to keep it brief today. And I just want to read a little bit from an article that I read about why we should support our local thrift stores. And one is because it's a green decision. It's really popular to go green these days. And whether you do it because of the popularity of it or because you actually care about the environment or not, shopping at thrift stores is a good way to go green. And let me explain this just a little bit by reading some of what's in the article. Less energy, fewer chemicals. It takes energy to transport the cotton from farms to the textile manufacturing factory for retailers and ultimately to consumers. So within the manufacturing process, a lot of energy consumption occurs during the washing, desizing, bleaching, rinsing, dyeing, printing, and finishing processes. And once the consumer no longer wants his clothes, energy is required to dispose of them too. So by buying secondhand, you divert clothes from landfills and save energy by getting more mileage from that piece of clothing. Also, it reduces your water footprint. Water is involved in almost every stage of clothing production. It takes water in addition to energy and pesticides to grow the cotton. About 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds of cotton takes up to 20,000 liters or 5,300 gallons of water. That's a lot of water, just on cotton production. That's crazy. So it allows us to be green because we're using less energy, fewer chemicals, we're reducing the water footprint, and it's more thoughtful consumption. These are things that we have to think about. It saves us money also. You can find all kinds of bargains in the thrift store. Polo, Lacoste, all your other urban brands, stuff that we like to wear. People get rid of them. After they wear them for a year, they get rid of them. They put them in the thrift stores, and you can get the same thing that you spend $50 on a polo. You can get one of them for $5, $6 at a thrift store. So it's something that you need to look into in order to save money. Get your school clothes, your work uniforms, all these things you can find in your thrift stores. And not only are you saving money for yourself, but you're also donating your clothes. By donating your clothes, you're giving back to the community. And by spending in the thrift stores, you're giving back to the community, because these thrift stores, like Goodwill, they provide career support for the disabled, and they provide money to a whole lot of other charities that are giving back to the community and helping people out. So support your local thrift store, man. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. That's something that you can do, not only be green, but you can also save your money, help you with your own personal finances, and you're giving back into the community. And that's just me keeping it brief today. I'll discuss more things that we need to do as far as our finances. I think next week what I want to talk about is debt stacking, actually, and I'll elaborate more on it then. But for now, that has been my third installment of Freedom Forever. And please feel free to subscribe, comment, check me out at www.jhamentertainmentcrew.com. And subscribe to this channel. That's JHAM Hip Hop and Cinema. And check out my boys at Dead End Hip Hop. You can go to deadendhiphop.com, or you can go to YouTube to their channel, Dead End Hip Hop. And shout out to my boy Beezy. He's producing the beats on my album, which I have come up with a title for. It's called It's Fire, whether you like it or not. And I'll explain that stuff later. But please stay tuned. Change your way of thinking. Free yourself. I'll holla.
If you go away